What's up, guys? Cameron Fous here with FousAlerts.com. It is April 1st, 2014. Great way to start the week, start the week, also start the month. Basically pulled about $6,000 in profits today, about $4,000 in profits yesterday. All of these profits were basically practically done within the first 20 minutes of each session. So these F1 patterns have been very, very hot just within, the first minutes of trading. So a lot of times, when the market's kind of volatile like it is right now, a lot of times, I just get in and get out, scalp the morning opens on those F1 patterns, and maybe the stock rebounds and comes back or makes a run throughout the whole session. But a lot of times, that's all you're going to get is just that quick little F1 pattern in the morning. So I at least lock in partial profits on the first initial spikes. Either in a quarter position, third position. I don't really know what I'm going to do until it happens, but it's also always important that you're locking in profits on the way up, no matter what your position size is, just to ensure gains, because you never know what any stock's going to do. It could spike to the upside, and next thing you know, comes all the way back down. But let's take a look at MNGA and BIOF. These were actually trades from Monday. So we're looking at yesterday's charts. MNGA, this is a stock that was alerted pre-market, so it's very important that you guys are paying very, very close attention to the stocks that I make those announcement alerts on prior to the open. Just giving you guys a heads up, like, hey, basically any stock that I announce pre-market, it's a stock that's gapping open, and most likely, probably 99% of the time, that stock has news out. So for one, it's gapping open, so there's momentum going for it, and two, there's a PR out, so there's momentum. A news piece, a PR, that's basically pushing momentum. So there's a very good chance that a lot of people haven't even seen that news yet, and so it's always good to have a news piece that's backing that day's move, because a lot of people that are just seeing the stock, maybe if they're even buying late, there's still going to be continued buyers coming in because they see that news piece, like, oh man, this must be good news. I'm going to continue to buying up, and that's why stocks that have news out can continue to keep going higher, because more and more people see this news piece out, and people just keep buying and buying into this hype and momentum. So it's important that you're watching those pre-market watch list stocks that I send out to you guys via the announcement feature, which is basically comes to you in chat, email, and via text message. So MNGA and BIOF were both text message to you guys and announced in chat prior to the market open, saying, hey, watch these stocks. And as always, any stock that's on the pre-market watch that's sent out, I'm looking for an F1 to trade. So that's exactly what I did here on MNGA. Right out of the gates, and made a quick $1,700 here. You can see here this screenshot that I snapped from yesterday. My PL daily was $4,088. The actual realized gain on MNGA was $1,700. So looking at that chart here, you can see this basically had that first initial gap open. As soon as that creates a high day, it kind of spiked out there at about 158, and then started pulling back down here. Now basically you can look at this chart and just basically say, all right, the buy trigger is at 157 or 158 here, as this actual is the trend line there. So as always, an F1 is a stock that has momentum going into that session, either a gap open or just a spike in volume plus price. And creates just an intraday flag. I like to use the 1 minute chart. So as soon as that broke out here above that high day that formed on this little kind of flag that's forming it here on MNGA, that was a buy trigger at 158. So I got long there, and I actually sold partial profits here, and I continued to hold all the way upwards until about I can't remember where I sold. This was yesterday. I make a lot of trades, but it will be actually uploaded, and all my trades from March will actually finally be verified. And I honestly don't even know what I made in March yet, because Profitly isn't compatible with Speed Trader's back-end clearing yet, because Speed Trader got a new clearing firm, and that kind of screwed up the whole thing. But Profitly just tweeted the other week, said, hey, we're actually going to be fixing the Profitly thing. So I don't know, I have no idea how much money I made. Somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000 in March is what I'm guessing, but we'll see what's going on with that. But I'll be able to actually upload all these trades so they're all verified again. But basically, looking at this stock chart here, it was a great looking F1 pattern that ripped at 158 and then kind of halted out here at 170. So 10,000 shares, what I like to buy in 10,000 shares or whatever share amount you got, that's a quick $1,000 just to buy into this spike and sell. You don't know what's going to happen here, but I did lock in partial profits up here near the top. It came back down, and I actually believe I bought in Morgan, because basically, if you know what a survival pattern is on the Fous 4 charts from the Fous 4 first DVD, you can basically look at this as a survival pattern, but on an intraday scale. That first initial spike up comes back down, forms up as a secondary triangle ahead of the actual high day breakout here. So that was actually a buy trigger here at about 164. 165 here, and that basically led to the trigger over the breakout of highs today again here at 170. From there, that was another great looking scalp right there on MNGA to buy in this triangle breakout pattern. So you got to be understanding the triangle breakout patterns, understanding the patterns from Fous 4, as well as you can look at them on an intraday scale as well. So I ended up banking basically on these two patterns that happened right there. $1,700 just within the opening bell there, and then the rest of the day didn't do anything and came all the way back down. So that's why you got to be locking in profits on these stocks, because you don't know what they're going to do. A lot of times when we bought down here at $1 per share initially, when I bought under 1 and this thing ripped freaking 240%, you can be a lot more confident that there's a lot of upside potential on that stock because we bought into that breakout over $1. But when you're buying in over here on a 13 EMA bounce, that this is kind of a later stage pattern. This was the initial great looking pattern that you could expect some big upside to, but when you're buying into this scatter plot chart over here where it's just kind of all over the place, lock in your profits, be quick and apt to lock in gains. But looking at the next chart here, BIOF, same situation here. This was something that I alerted you guys pre-market saying, hey, there's news out here. Watch for the F1 trigger here on this stock, and that's exactly what happened here on BIOF. I got in at 425 and just sold way too freaking early here. Can I even go back this far? No. Where's the chart? Let's pull back the 2-minute chart here on BIOF. So, this was gapping open here. This was firing away right here out of the gates. It's kind of a little bit harder to look at this because it's the 2-minute chart. I do kind of like to look at the 1-minute chart here on BIOF. But basically what was happening here, this is the 2-minute chart. It started forming up this F1 pattern here at about 425, and actually, alerted it and called it out live on Fous TV and said, all right, I want to get in on this 425. Hey, here it goes. It's breaking, and then it spiked up, and I missed it, and it spiked all the way up to about 443 here, 445 for the 425 mark. So I hesitated to get in, but I still had my 5,000 share limit order open and actually dipped that back down and filled that. So then I alerted again at 425, and from here this thing just absolutely ripped it all the way up to 450. But I sold everything under $5 per share, and it actually went as high as $7 per share that day. Later that session. So huge rip there on BIOF, but guess where every one of these huge rips, almost 90% of the time it has a great looking F1 pattern that's signifying that this stock could be making a big potential move. So you have to be watching these stocks for those first morning flag breakout patterns. You never know how high they're going to go. A lot of people are like, how do you know to buy this one, or how do you know to buy that one? I have no idea what any of these stocks are going to do. I have absolutely no freaking clue what any stock's going to do, how high any of these stocks are going to go. All I know is that when an F1 pattern breaks out and it is gapping open and there is a news piece, there's definitely potential to see at least some sort of a continuation and a move to make money on. Basically the rule of thumb always is with an F1, as long as it holds a 13 EMA on whatever scale you're looking at, 1 minute, 2 minute, or 5 minute, whatever you prefer. I prefer most of the time 1 minute, it's as long as it holds that 13 EMA, there's really no indication that this stock's going to see a potential intraday reversal. So if you look at BIOF here, this rode the 13 EMA on the 2-minute chart all the way up to 612 from my 425 buy. So, if I had the balls to hold that long, I could have made a crap load of money. Instead, I made what? Looking over here at BIOF, I made $2,400, which is, good, to make that in a day. I made $4,000 yesterday. So that's a pretty good trade, but be able to try to predict how high that stock's going to go, you really never know. And then moving on here to INVE, which was biggest trade of, or not the biggest trade of today, but another great trade here. Made about $1,000, but this was the same exact thing, same pattern here this morning. It was the F1 pattern that actually triggered, but actually turned into a false breakout. This is another example of why you have to be very, very careful with buying into these trades. You never know if it's going to continue up or if you actually just need to sell it. And that's why you have to be extremely disciplined about, just accepting that losing is a huge part of the game and not try to hold on to these stocks if they do reverse on you. Because I was actually, we got long yesterday and at 110, and then this morning actually added here at 118 because it was breaking this F1 pattern breakout here. Right here at 118, we had that gap open. I believe we did have news out here this morning, so this is actually another stock that I alerted pre-market saying, hey, watch this for a potential F1. And we did have this great looking F1 trigger right here at 118. But as soon as that, let me go forward here. As soon as that triggered over 118, I added 5,000 shares to this position, and it did make a nice rip there from 118, pushed all the way up to 125, but then had a quick reversal. And then as soon as that broke down the 13 EMA, that's your first indication of a potential reversal here on the 1 minute chart. And then as soon as it breaks down that actual F pattern breakout at 118, then you definitely got to be cautious and say, hey, maybe this stock isn't working out. You might want to lock in your profits, especially if we were already in from yesterday at 110. I locked in those gains, and I continue to hold, and I actually still have 10,000 shares left right now, but I did lock in about $1,000 profit already on this stock. So I still have 10,000 shares, and as you can see, if I wouldn't have sold anything, I would probably be at $1,000 loss on this trade rather than locking in $1,000, because this thing came all the way back down to 102 when it was up at 125 today. I was up close to, I think, about $3,000 on this trade off the highs. So you have to be locking in partial gains on the way up, and be extremely cautious when you see that potential false breakout on the F patterns. Another one, let's see what else we have here. Kior, this is the one that I banked $4,300 on today. So let's take a look at KIOR. This was another stock, same exact thing. I alerted you guys this pre-market saying, hey, check out KIOR. This does have news out. Watch for the potential F1, and we basically hit this thing perfectly today pre-F1 breakout. So let's look back here at the opening bell price. Same exact pattern that I teach to you guys every freaking time. Every time if you see a stock that has a gap open on momentum plus news, basically once that stock kind of gaps open, we look for that flag pattern. Now that we can see that this has that high day there right at 81 cents. So basically now we can look at this and say if we break over 81, that's an F1 trigger. So that's a potential easy buy here, and being that this is right under $1 per share, that would be the next profit target, because that's the next whole number resistance. So that was basically what I was looking to sell this thing at, was upwards of $1 per share. It actually got a little bit over $1 per share, but then quickly reversed and basically came all the way back down to my initial buy price. But there was that huge spike this morning, and I was able to lock in $4,300 gain within the first 20 minutes of the stock market open. So as soon as we broke out over 81 cents here, I actually got long, I believe at 78 cents. Let me double check my buy on KIOR. Yeah, between 77 and 789 was actually my buy prices here. So my average is about 78 cents. I believe it was 25,000 shares. So I, got a pretty decent sized position here. But as you can see, within how many are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of buying, this thing was up at $1 per share. So basically, it wasn't even within 20 minutes. I made $4,400 in about 5 minutes. As soon as that triggered the F1 there at 81 cents, I kind of anticipated right here. We had this nice flag. I started seeing some bids on the bid side there at about 77 cents. So, I looked at that as an opportunity that we have some buyers supporting the stock. And if we do hit that 81 cent trigger, there's definitely an opportunity to see this potentially rip to the upside. So as soon as I got long here at 78 cents, that definitely fired off on that breakout there at 81 cents, and I was able to make $4,300 very quickly. I locked in 2 different positions on this stock, selling KIOR at 96 cents and about 95.5. Just like that, within 5 minutes, I was up $4,300 in this stock. And if you look through the rest of the session, just like I said, as long as it holds a 13 EMA, there's no sign of a reversal. But this did eventually break down the 13 EMA on the 1 minute chart about 98 cents. And from there, it came all the way back down to my buy price. So if you don't lock in those profits, I would have been back to break even on this stock, and I would have made nothing. So you have to be, always locking in profits on the way up. And that's trading. But anyways, we're out of time on this video, guys. I hope you guys learned something good today and made some money on these stock picks.